All right, let's do this. Welcome back to Amateur Sports, everybody, for your Tuesday off-season stream here for July 8th, 2025. Raptors. A little bit of action over the last little while with some signings, which we've done videos on, we've talked about, but we can discuss a little bit further today. But mainly what's coming up for the Raptors is Summer League. Summer League has already tipped off, but for the Raptors in particular, they get their Summer League started on July 11th, I'm pretty sure, is the start for the Raptors. So we're going to be talking a little bit about Summer League, the roster, what it could do for the Raptors. Oh, I mean, what is that Summer League game? I hope to be able to stream, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. Yeah, 8 p.m. game, unfortunately, no stream for myself on that one. But the ones after that, they play the 11th against the Bulls at 8 p.m. Cannot stream for that. They play the 13th against the Magic at 6 p.m. That should be fine. I should be able to stream for that. Then they play against the Nuggets on the 15th, which also, I mean, it'll be an off-season stream day anyway, so I'll be streaming for that one at 8 p.m. Then Thursday, July 17th, against the Warriors at 10 p.m. That shouldn't be a problem either. So it should be good for 3 out of 4 of the game. Just can't do the upcoming one. But anyways, we're going to talk about the Raptors roster. The word is the roster is looking pretty good, and I would have to agree. So we're going to talk about that. We also are going to be talking about the Norman Powell trade, former Raptor to the Miami Heat, because former Raptor and Raptors fans still resonate a lot with Norm and love Norm and want to see him do well, and potentially he'll be doing well with the Miami Heat. I wish he was out west so I could root for him a little bit more, but nonetheless, we'll talk a little bit about that, and we'll also talk about Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry staying in the NBA, not with the Raptors, but perhaps one day he can come back to the Raptors. We will see. Sorry. My dog chills all day, and then as soon as I start talking into a microphone in front of a camera, she goes nuts. Are you going to have to get kicked out again? Are you going to have to get kicked out? I'll open the window for a little bit so she can see. I can't play. I cannot play. Here. Go lay down. Literally, like, no noise, nothing, just chilling. As soon as I start streaming, she runs in here, starts barking at me. I could have played with you an hour ago. Anyways, hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's enjoying the summer, enjoying the off-season. Man, it has been hot in Toronto. Like early June, it was still, still in like a hoodie sometimes, a jacket. It was windy, it was cold, wondering what's going on. It has been hot the last little bit. Man, my soccer Sunday mornings, I either play at 9:30 a.m. or 11:30 a.m. Even the 9:30 a.m. games are absolutely roasting. But man, those 11:30 games, they go 11:30 to 1:30. Oh my Lord, are those tough to get through. Can't beat the heat, man. It is brutal, but hey, I'll take it over the cold. Absolutely. We have Vedant Patel joining us today, GR Jr., Nan Kim Sess, thank you so much. And of course, Thomas Perry, Nick Killer, 12-month amazing member. Thank you so much for joining in. So we've got some great talent. Looking forward to seeing the growth. Yes, indeed. Me as well. Can't see Raptors Summer League. I'm excited for it as well. Yes. Weird weather this year. Yes, very weird, but hot for now. We'll see. Should be a little bit cooler in Europe. I'm going to be in Europe at the end of the month, so it should be a little bit cooler there. My dog is currently biting my hand. Yesterday, it was pretty good weather. Yeah, it was. I was out in the patio last night. It was pretty nice weather, I'd say. It wasn't too hot. It was pretty nice. All right. Getting too aggressive. She may have to get kicked out. Don't bark or you'll get kicked out. Yeah, be good. Gas as well. Thank you for joining. All right. Can't lollygag too much today. I have to get out of here. Latest hard cutoff for me is 6 p.m. today, which is, as of right now, about 53 minutes and 40 seconds away. Hard cutoff for me at 6 p.m. because I've got some plans I need to get to. So, bear with me for that. Let's just jump into it. As I said, Raptors Summer League is just a few days away. They start on July 11th. They have games of the 11th, the 13th, the 15th, and the 17th, and they will likely get an additional game added in. And then there's playoffs, I think, which could be a couple of games as well. But for the time being, the current Summer League schedule is those 4 games. And as you see from, if you're watching on the live stream, the thumbnail says stacked. The title has stacked in it. I mean, it seems like a pretty stacked roster for the Raptors, which is very exciting. Now, the thing is, when it comes to Summer League, I mean, I look at the Raptors Summer League roster every year, and I think like, that roster looks pretty good. And then the Raptors Summer League, I don't know. I can't remember the last time we had a extraordinarily successful Summer League. You know what I mean? Like it's last year was decent, but I can't remember like an extraordinarily successful Summer League. Also on top of like when it's a really good roster, some of the guys on the roster are only going to play like 1 game or even like half a game. You know, they're going to roll out. The Raptors are going to see them in 1 game and go, yep, this guy's ready for the season. Let's take him out, have him ready for training camp. Don't risk any injuries and whatnot. But I mean, I'm looking at this roster here, and I'm pulling up this Yardbreaker article talking about the Raptors Summer League roster. This looks like a pretty damn good roster, honest to goodness. Lots of like notable players for the Raptors in the NBA. You've got Jacoby Walter, who is going to be out here for the Raptors, Jonathan Mobo, Jamison Battle. Battle coming off of an excellent Summer League last season, which helped earn him a spot on the Raptors eventually, but got a standard NBA contract out of it. Jamal Shed, who was going to be a big factor for the Raptors this season. AJ Lawson finished the season really well for the Raptors. Then we've got recent 9th overall pick, Colin Murray-Boyles, recent 39th overall pick, Elijah Martin. Also, we have Ulrich Shamshay, who was injured to end the season last year, but he's in this. Colin Castleton, he finished the season with the Raptors. He's got a chance to earn a roster spot this summer. And then you've got like guys, you got Chucky Hepburn, who was a undrafted free agent signing, who was I forget what conference exactly, but he was Defensive Player of the Year in his conference. Clifford Omarui, no relation to Eugene Omarui. I actually don't think you pronounce their names the same. I'm not quite sure. I apologize, Clifford. I don't know how to pronounce it, but he was also an undrafted free agent. Then you've got a couple guys who are with the 905 last season. Tyreek Key, I believe, is one of them who is a solid player. Quincy Guerrier, who is quite a good player as well, actually. Had a decent Summer League last season with the Raptors and was decent for the 905 throughout the season. Shamshay, I mean, he was with the 905 as well. Coach James Wade. So this is like a really interesting roster when it comes to Summer League. And the thing is, like, I feel like every year we think the roster is pretty stacked. This is a great roster. But I mean, I look at this. This is seriously like a pretty damn good roster. Now, some of the rosters out there, like the Wizards Summer League roster, the Wizards Summer League roster is like, I mean, the Wizards starting 5 in Summer League like might actually be their NBA starting 5. So they're going to probably be pretty good, I would think. The Jazz as well are going to have a pretty good Summer League team. But, like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if we're gassing it up because we're Raptors fans, but it's just kind of difficult to look at this roster because it's tough to, like, to understand how it compares to every other roster because, like, you know, even people that are super locked into the league, I don't think they know everything about every roster going into Summer League. But this is, regardless, going to be a pretty exciting team for Summer League. Like, this has got to be a team that's pretty competitive. But let's think about what the lineup is going to be. Like, what would the starting 5 be for this team? Like, you've got Jamal Shed at the 1, Jacoby Walter at the 2. Are we going to put, Jamison Battle at the 3, Colin Murray-Boyles at the 4, Jonathan Mobo at the 5. You could put, like, even Colin Caston there, but probably not Shamshay. You'll keep Mobo there. Like, that is a pretty good lineup there. Shed, Walter, Battle, Murray-Boyles, Mobo, like that's a bench we might see in the NBA playing together as well. So I struggle to see this not being an ultra-competitive team for Summer League. Again, we could be made to eat our words on that one. Let me know what you guys think. We have Nand in the chat who's saying we said that last year. Indeed, we did. Nick Killer says, Summer League always hit or miss for us, but we need a strong performance to carry into the season. Can we see our rookies? I think they will contribute right away. Absolutely, they need to contribute right away. So let's talk about kind of like what Summer League, who Summer League is the most important for, I think, out of all the players involved. So for rookies, how Summer League typically works, I mean, you could say it for sophomore players as well, but typically if a guy's playing really well in Summer League, like especially a higher pick, like somebody like Colin Murray-Boyles, that's obviously a good sign. But it's not that big of a deal when a guy's playing well. It's Summer League, like, yeah, you draft a guy high or, you have a sophomore guy. These are players you should be better than. These are players you need to be dominating, kind of. You need to look like you're better than everyone there. But there isn't much you learn from a player who plays well in Summer League. There is quite a lot you can learn from a player who's playing poorly in Summer League. Now, we've seen players play well in Summer League and not play well in the NBA. We've seen players not play well in Summer League and play well in the NBA. There's no be-all, end-all. There's no rule here. But again, typically when it comes to Summer League, it is the players who struggle, which means more than the players who are doing quite well. But let's take a look at some of the players who have like a lot on the line here. So, I mean, a lot of like the players who are less notable of the lineup, like you think back to last season. It's obviously big for them, but you think back to last season. Jamison Battle wasn't exactly somebody that we knew of really. We knew really anything of, but he played so well in Summer League that he got an Exhibit 10 contract. He played so well in preseason that he got a two-way contract. He played so well in the NBA, got a standard NBA contract. Like, Jamison Battle is the blueprint for all these guys to see and to understand how they can rise through the ranks. Like, if you play well in Summer League, it can lead to all of these possibilities of playing the NBA. But for Jamison Battle this season, like, it's not as if the Raptors have this amazing bench, but there are a lot of pretty good players fighting for a limited amount of spots there, Jamison Battle being one of them. I mean, I look at what the likely bench for the Raptors is going to be. Jamal Shed would be, let's like make a lineup of players that are going to be coming off the bench for the Raptors. Jamal Shed would likely be the point guard. Grady Dick would likely be the shooting guard. You would have some combination of Jacoby Walter, Ochai Agbaji, Jamison Battle filling out like other spots for the wings. You have to worry a little bit about Jonathan Mobo as well. Is he going to get into the mix there? Because like Colin Murray-Boyles is there as well. You want to play Colin Murray-Boyles right away, and I feel like I might even be potentially forgetting someone. So I think Jamal Shed has his role pretty locked down. I don't suspect he'll get a ton of Summer League game time, especially because like he's an older player. Like, I think we'll get like one or two games that Jamal Shed will be like, all right, he's good. Let's not worry about getting him injured. He's looking the part because I suspect he's going to play pretty well in this. AJ Lawson, we'll see. They probably want to get a good look because his roster spot as a whole is not guaranteed. But the guys, like I said, like Jacoby Walter, like Jonathan Mobo, like Jamison Battle, these are the second-year players who probably really need to showcase that like they look better than everyone else. They are the better players than everyone else because there's, again, limited amount of spots to get consistent game time. And not that Summer League is going to make or break it, but if one of these players comes out really strong in Summer League, that could go a long way to helping cement their spot in the Raptors rotation for next season because it is absolutely not a given. I mean, I even talk about Sandro Mamukelashvili for something like Mobo. He's probably going to be fighting for some spots in like the big rotation off the bench. Now you have Mamukelashvili, who's going to be fighting for those spots. So big deal. A lot of players in this mix for the Raptors who are second-year players who may not have locked down rotation rules. Their goal is to try and earn that. But, as for any Summer League situation, a lot of players vying for a lot. This could make or break some careers. You look at Jamison Battle, his journey. If he hadn't played well in Summer League, who knows where he would be right now? Who knows what sort of trajectory he would have been on if it would have been different, if he would have done it somewhere else. These things matter, and it's going to be exciting to see how these players look. I think, like, the player I'm most excited to watch, I just want to get a bigger feel for Colin Murray-Boyles, and I want Raptors fans to get a better feel and start to really I want them to really start to like this guy. So let me know. Who are you most excited to see? I'm excited for Colin Murray-Boyles, but also, I think Jacoby Walter's got a chance to make a jump this season, and this hopefully plants the seed for that to happen. Colin Murray-Boyles starting the four. I mean, you got to start your 9th overall pick. I would think, wouldn't you? got to start that 9th overall pick. I would love to see him in action. Unfortunately, I can't watch the Friday game because I do have plans. I've had plans for this day for a while, so it kind of is what it is. They might go Shed, Martin Jacoby, Colin Murray-Boyles, Caston, Shamshay. Yeah, they could go Elijah Martin as well. I would think you'd probably want to get Jamison Battle in from the start, but yeah, they could just to get a better look. Are they going to put strictly the best lineup they can out, or are they going to put the lineup of players they want to see the most out? We'll just have to wait and see. I think Elijah Martin can also do well in summer league. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I'm just excited. A lot of guys who I think have a lot of defensive potential, a lot of great characters in the mix. I don't know, I don't have a great reference for what is a talented and untalented roster for something, as I said, but this looks like a pretty freaking good roster. Am I wrong? We'll wait and see on if I am wrong about that. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. If you are enjoying so far, please make sure you've hit the like button. Let's try to get to 50 likes while we are live on the stream today. Keep it going here. Some trades that went down. Oh, hang on. Do our rookies do their photo shoots like others like most of the others have? I would suspect there's going to be a photo shoot, especially for Colin Murray-Boyles. We'll get some good footage of him in Raptors jerseys for the first time. I would think so. I don't see why a top 10 pick would not have a photo shoot get done. So we'll get some Colin Murray. I mean, reminder, the Raptors are starting late here, right? They're playing the 11, but there's been games that have been happening for the last few days. So the players may not have reported as of yet, which is potential. Or if they have, maybe they just haven't done the photo shoot as of yet. So yes, wait and see on that. All right. On the trade front, nothing from the Raptors, but movement for former Raptors players, particularly a fan favorite, even to this day. Years after he was traded away, Raptors fans still resonate with and love Norman Powell. He is on the move once again. Let's talk about the trade, talk about Norman Powell, what it means for each of the teams involved. So if you guys didn't see it, this was a pretty strange one that kind of came out of nowhere yesterday at the time of recording. Shams Charania of ESPN talked about or broke the story. Clippers, Jazz, and Heat have agreed to a trade, a 3-team trade, a rare, not super rare, but somewhat rare 3-team trade. But it's one of those where the third team involved is just a bit of a salary dump, and the Jazz love being that dump to just accept the salary and take some compensation to do it. So, Clippers, Jazz, and Heat have agreed to a trade that sends Norman Powell to the Miami Heat, John Collins to the Los Angeles Clippers, Kevin Love salary dumped from the Miami Heat, as was Kyle Anderson to a certain degree, and a 2027 second-round pick were sent to the Jazz. So the Clippers got rid of a second. Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson were dumped by the Miami Heat, and we have this trade. So John Collins has ended up on the Los Angeles Clippers. Norman Powell has ended up on the Miami Heat. Now, let's talk a little bit more about Norman Powell in just a second here. But let's talk a little bit about the strategy for not just the Clippers, but a lot of teams going into the upcoming season. Because I had some people reach out to me asking about this trade and asking particularly, why would the Clippers do this? I mean, Norman Powell, we understand how good Norman Powell is. And Norman Powell had a really good season with the Clippers. Honestly, enough that if LeBron had done the right thing and talked about sitting out of the All-Star game a little bit earlier, Norman Powell might have had an All-Star appearance as an injury reserve. LeBron waited until right before the game to say he wasn't playing, so he couldn't get somebody to fill in for him. LeBron didn't even put on the jersey for the photo shoot, going down a little bit of a rabbit hole there. But Norman Powell had all-star pedigree with the way he played this season, and the Clippers have moved on curiously for somebody like John Collins. Now, important to note, both of the players are in the final years of their contract. Pulling up the John Collins contract right here. Oh boy, it's frozen. There we go. Pulling up the John Collins contract right here. We have John Collins, who's exercised, obviously, his player option worth, I say obviously. I would have said that a couple years ago, but he's exercised his player option for $26.5 million for the upcoming season. Finally, on the end of this contract that the Atlanta Hawks probably regretted giving him. But, like, John Collins has really started to play more up to that deal. Like, he showed a lot of potential in this range, which is why this contract was handed out. Like, 21.6 points per game in the 1920 season. Like, John Collins was starting to look like a really good player. Then he started to regress quite a lot. His role started to diminish. His three-point shot deserted him. But then since he's gone to the Utah Jazz, he's been like a good player and quietly had a great season last year. 19 points per game, 53% shooting from the field, 40% shooting from three. Like, this is a career 36% shooter who can play as a power forward and a center. But the big thing here is the rebounding. 8.2 rebounds per game for John Collins. This is where the NBA is starting to head. Now, if you've been watching my content, you've been watching my streams in particular, I've been talking about this a lot. This is where the NBA is heading. You are going to see more and more teams looking to bring in size, and more teams not looking to bring in just any old size to play center. You want to bring in players who can give you size at the four. That is the way the NBA is trending towards. Like, the most extreme example of that with the Houston Rockets in the playoffs this season. I know they lost in the first round, but some of the lineups you saw there, like there was Steven Adams at the 5, Alperen Sengun at the 4, Jabari Smith at the 3. Like, they were playing these ultra big lineups and absolutely smothering the Warriors in some of those games because they were just dominating the glass. And you've seen in this offseason, more and more teams are looking to bring in size. And now you have the Los Angeles Clippers doing it because maybe they feel as though they have enough perimeter play to feel satisfied. But where they're going to be able to find an edge is in the rebounding department. They've traded for John Collins here. They brought in Brook Lopez as well. They have flexibility with these players to play next to Ivica Zubac, who also had like just a fantastic year with the Clippers. This is going to be a difficult lineup to deal with. And John Collins also poses a pretty good lob threat to play alongside James Harden. So I understand it for the Clippers. I really like the fit. The question is, was this worth giving up Norman Powell, who was so good last season? Well, let's take a look. The Norman Powell contract situation is a little bit more complicated because he's older. He's 32. This will be his age 32 season, making $20.4 million with the Miami Heat. Now, this is where there's going to be some conversation that need to be had because Norman Powell is probably still playing in the range of like that contract, maybe even outplaying the number that he's making here. But going into the age 33 season, that's not going to be a super desirable contract to extend for a long period of time. Whereas John Collins, next year will be his age 29 season. So he's going into his age 28 season. A little bit easier to stomach giving that player an extension. Well, that's something that the Clippers were looking towards as well with all the difficulties with the cap. That's something to consider as well. But for the Miami Heat, look, the East is open. I don't know how good the Miami Heat, I know how good they think they are. They think they just got to get in, they can win the championship. That's just been the mindset. That's the Pat Riley mindset. But I think, from a Miami Heat perspective, they're not giving up a ton in order to do this. And they've brought in, a really interesting player. Like Norman Powell, 21.8 points per game last season, 48% from the field, 42% from three. This is like a high 40, low 40, low 80 shooter. This is a super efficient player who can create his own shot, can space the floor super effectively. 62% nearly true shooting percentage. Career true shooting percentage of 60%. These are some ridiculous numbers that have been put up by Norman Powell over the course of his career. And I think the most impressive thing is that Norman Powell has consistently been able to scale up his production while not sacrificing any of that efficiency. And there were so many points last season where Norman Powell had to be more of a lead creator for this team amidst their injuries. And he was doing that just as successfully. I mean, it always occurred to me and seemed to me like this is a player who can definitely be a 20-point per game player plus, and he did that last season, 22 points per game. Like, this is a really good player to have for the Miami Heat going into this season. So I like the move from Miami. I think that like the mentality that Norman Powell brings, he's going to love it there. I think it's going to be like a very positive mutual relationship. Miami Heat fans are going to love him. He's going to like it there. So for Norman Powell in particular, like, this will be some pretty solid exposure playing in Miami. I like the move for Norm. Hopefully he's comfortable with it. I think he's going to have a big role here as well. I like it. I'll probably lean slightly toward, I don't think Miami had to give up that much in order to make this happen, so I like it the most for Miami. But I think people are diminishing a little bit how good this could be for the Clippers as well, with John Collins joining the team. I think that's a very interesting fit. I look forward to watching how the Clippers deploy him next season, because I could definitely see him starting next to Ivica Zubac. Soul Train says, for that trade, I like Collins with the Clippers. Allows Kawhi to play more small forward and moves Derek Jones Jr. to shooting guard, which I think is more effective as a 3-and-D player, which allows Harden to be a point guard. And that's a big lineup. That's going to be a very solid defensive unit as well, with just the sheer amount of size in that team. That is, I think they had championship pedigree this season. The big question will always be Kawhi's health, but that is going to be a dangerous team. I understand why this trade took place, and I think all parties are going to see some benefit to it. Definitely. Harden, Collins pick and roll sounds decent. Well, yes, absolutely. Great. For Collins woke up on a team that can win a championship next season. In Los Angeles, Collins woke up. Not woke up. Collins woke up living in Utah. He probably wasn't living in Utah, but playing for Utah, where he has to be in Utah all the time and play for a team that isn't very good. Now he and he goes to sleep playing for a team that can win a championship and gets to live in LA. Like, nobody had a better day yesterday than John Collins, I don't think. Do you need to get kicked out? What are you doing? Did I see the Raptors win total? I did not. I didn't know they were posted. Let me have a look. I am going to guess. I am going to guess 38.5. Let's see. I'm going to guess 38.5. Let's look on FanDuel first. I don't think FanDuel has it. They do not. Guessing 37. Mr. Cannon says 36.5. I'm not sure if that's confirmation or a guess. An educated guess. 34 and I'll hammer the over 34.5. Okay, regular season wins. I'm on Bet365. They do have it up. Raptors, wow, 34.5. Yeah. I think they're going to win more than 34.5 games. Wow, so we're still, oh man, that is a lot lower than I thought it'd be. I'm going to play the over. I'm going to play the over on this. So the sentiment is still that this team can tank, because we all know this team is better than 34.5 games. We all know that. There is still this doubt over the direction of the team. That's what this screams to me. There is still that lingering potential that this team will explode and tank in the middle of the season. Which, granted, is fair. I've talked about it in some recent videos where that seed of doubt is starting to creep in about what the front office actually wants to get out of this season. Was trading for Brandon Ingram Like, time to start being good trade? Or was that, well, that was too good a trade to say no to, and now we have Brandon Ingram? Like, that's the complication here. It's somewhere probably in the middle, but which side of the spectrum is it leaning towards? This screams to me that the expectation from the market is there is still a strong possibility the Raptors just blow it up in the middle of the season. Not blow it up, but like are major sellers mid-season and start to tank and resting players, and they can be aggressive in tanking. That is extremely interesting. Like, their win total is slightly higher than Portland, which I think is a bit strange. It's only slightly higher than the Pelicans, which I don't agree with. It's only 2 less than Miami. Like, who's going to win games in the East? Boston is at 43.5 still. Like, who is going to get wins in the East? The Hawks will be good, I agree. The Celtics, I don't know, that might be a little high, but yeah, I think that's a little high. The Bulls, that's probably correct. The Cavs, that's probably correct. The Pistons, I think they'll maybe even sneak over that. The Pacers, probably correct. Like, where are the wins going to come from in the East? The Bucks at 45.5. I don't know. Well, yeah, they got Miles Turner back. I mean, no, they still have Giannis. 45.5, though. No Dame. I mean, Giannis got to do everything. I don't know about 45.5. Magic, 50 wins, yeah. I mean, I'm probably gonna play the over. I'm gonna play the over. I'm going to. I'm gonna spend time looking for the best price on that. See what limits are, but I'm feeling like they're gonna win more than 34.5 games. I think the East is going to be just way too bad to only get 35 wins. To finish 35-47. Yeah, come on, man. I mean, surely. What did they win last season? Was it 27 games? They won 30 games last season, and they tried to tank. I think the East is just so bad. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They won 30 games not even trying to win. So, like, if this year they try to win, I feel pretty good about that over. I will be playing that. 40-plus wins. I mean, I thought it was possible. This is... Market does not agree. Market does not... basically, the market is... It's just... It's in the middle of, like, are they going to try and win or not? Are they going to tank? If they're going to tank, this will go under. They can hit the over if they want to. If they really want to, they will hit the over. Regardless, it seems. It's just, again, the mere fact of they could see the playing picture at the trade deadline and go, we don't want a part of that. Let's tank. What if their schedule is super strong to end the season? What if it's, front loaded like it was this season? A lot of different things to think about, but I definitely think that's too low. Usually I'm like pretty decent at making these sorts of guesses. I was way off. I thought we were going to stick 38.5. So yeah, for me I like the over for sure. For sure like the over. 16 likes, 65 people watching. If you're enjoying, please remember to hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. Sorry for no video today. It was a little bit busy. Tomorrow, I would like to get a video out. I have a very busy day, but I will try to get a video out regarding Jacoby Walter. If I kind of have to because I can't do Thursday either. I'm going to do everything I can to get a video out tomorrow. If not, it will come out Thursday. And then we'll have another amateur hour answers this week as well, which will come out on Saturday. Yeah, Friday. My Friday is pretty empty. So for sure, amateur hour answers coming out on Saturday this week. And keep a lookout for the streams next week, 13th, 15th, and 17th. Raptors Summer League watch-alongs. It's the 11th I cannot stream for because I do have plans. The Raptors get their Summer League started. Raptors are a 50-piece right now. If taking Walter over 37%, I wouldn't go that far, But they're above 500 if they've got the shooting going this season for sure. Yeah, so the Raptors pretty much are the same team with Brandon Ingram now, with more center depth, with Colin Murray-Boyles, and they won 30 games last season. Yeah, I'm with you there. They are the same team that won 30 games without trying, that now has Brandon Ingram. I mean, I think that's a team that's going to win more than 34.5 games. Can't wait to revisit and say, wow, we fucking suck. We didn't win 34.5 games. But, yeah, you're right. The more I think about it, the more I'm talking myself into it. Please bet responsibly, though. We like it. Bet amount that's comfortable and fun for you if you're going to bet it. Some alt-win totals. I mean, that's probably the play, to be honest. Because that's probably the play. Because this is like in the middle of, are they going to tank or not? Like, if they don't tank, this is like a borderline 40-win team. If they don't tank at all. Some alt-win totals might be the way to play this. Get a higher price. Same for like the other way. Like play like under 30. Because if they tank, they probably won't be able to get to 30. That might be the way to play this one, honestly. I'll have to have a look around at that in the coming days. Yeah. That's probably where the better play might be, depending on the price. All right. Last segment here, and then answer some final questions. Then I have to head out. Got some plans tonight. So, I had some questions in the offseason in regards to some of the open roster spots and the Raptors having basically only minimum contracts to give out. And these vet minimum deals can often land players that, maybe are past their prime, but can still offer a lot from an IQ standpoint and from a veteran presence standpoint. One of those players that would absolutely provide that for the Raptors is Kyle Lowry. And he was still a free agent up until this week, but he has decided to return to the Philadelphia 76ers. So let's talk about what Kyle Lowry can still bring to the NBA and if he will ever return to the Raptors. I do remember one of the comments was worried, how is Kyle Lowry going to retire a Raptor? How is Kyle Lowry going to come back to the team? Like, he's already going back to this was before he signed with the Philadelphia 76ers, but, Kyle Lowry has said, I'm definitely retiring as a Raptor. He made his intentions clear for his final day in the NBA. He wants to retire as a Toronto Raptor. Like, Kyle Lowry is a Raptor. I think Kyle Lowry has a very, very good chance of making the Hall of Fame. If he goes to the Hall of Fame, he will go in as a Raptor. Now, there's a Raptor I can really respect being in the Hall of Fame. There's a Raptor I can really respect having their number retired. I want a statue outside of the Scotiabank Arena. We'll see if we get that. I mean, the Leafs have a lot of statues and stuff, right? The Blue Jays have one statue, and it's of fucking Ted Rogers. That's the caliber of ownership that we're now going to be dealing with. The one statue they have out of the Blue Jays ballpark. All these fantastic players, Hall of Famers, guys who have won World Series. We have fucking Ted Rogers statue outside. Like, corporate nightmare. Raptors absolutely should have a Kyle Lowry statue. You look at the 6 straight All-Star appearances. If the Raptors hadn't been in Tampa this year, it might have been 7 consecutive All-Star appearances. Like what a career he had. He probably should have had some all-defense team selections. I think he should have at least one. He probably could have had 2. He had an All-NBA selection 2015-16. He absolutely could have had more All-NBA selections as part of the Raptors. Like, what an absolutely phenomenal player for the team. But like I said, he's back in the NBA playing for the Philadelphia 76ers. Decided to go in on a 1-year deal. Sixers, really trying to, fix up for this season. They've made some moves in order to try and help that, and they still feel as though the presence of Kyle Lowry is something that they can bank on and get value out of. And, 2 years ago in the playoffs, Kyle Lowry was still bringing some decent performances for the Sixers, but the problem is really just his production. It fell off a cliff last season. He still started 12 games. He still got some ability, but he averaged 4 points. He averaged 35% shooting from the field. He averaged 33% shooting from three. Just not the same player anymore. Like, we all know why Kyle Lowry has made this signing, why the Sixers signed him. This is absolutely that veteran presence sort of signing. And for the Raptors, to be honest, that spot is already filled. Like, we've got the basically assistant coach who's on the player roster. We've got that role. We've got Garrett Temple doing that. And you think about this current group of Raptors players, they all really like Garrett Temple. They're resonating well with Garrett Temple. Like, that's their guy. As unfortunate as it is, it hasn't been that long since Kyle Lowry left, but like none of the current roster is going to resonate with Kyle Lowry as a vet as much as they would right now with Garrett Temple. So I don't really think that was ever quite on the table for Kyle Lowry to make a return in some sort of playing capacity for the Raptors this season. But, it's important to remember, like we've talked about betting on this stream already with the Raptors win total. But like something that you won't be able to bet on that would absolutely be a surefire bet for myself at like any price pretty much. Kyle Lowry will retire a Raptor. We see it all the time. Players will sign a one-day contract to return to their team and retire with that team. And that's going to be Kyle Lowry with the Raptors. At this point, with the Raptors and their current status and the rebuild, and Kyle Lowry with his production, I would think that this is going to be Kyle Lowry's final year in the NBA. It's sad to think about, but this is probably Kyle Lowry's last year in the NBA. I don't see him signing another contract in the NBA, and I don't see the Raptors having a desire to bring in Kyle Lowry. So for me, again, we probably have seen the last of Kyle Lowry in a Raptors uniform. Very likely we have, but we might be able to, I think we very much will see him return to the Raptors on a one-day contract to retire. And it'll be a special day. And hopefully, if the Sixers do well, hopefully we can bolster this Hall of Fame probability a little bit more. This is the Basketball Reference Hall of Fame probability index, and they have Kyle Lowry listed at just about 86% chance to get into the Hall of Fame. And like you look at the players around him on the list, typically players who are in this range, they're getting in. They get in. A lot of the players, even just above like 50%, these are players that are getting in. So I absolutely believe Kyle Lowry, NBA champion, 6-time All-Star, 1-time All-NBA, will get into the Hall of Fame as a Raptor, and also will retire and take his final day in the NBA. Even if it's just a one-day contract, he'll have his final day in the NBA as a Raptor as well. I feel strongly about those. My only hope, I believe he'll be in the Hall of Fame and he'll retire a Raptor. We'll have his number retired. My only hope is that a statue comes for him as well. We'll see. Jamison Battle statue, maybe one day. If in the infinite possibilities of life, somewhere out there in the multiverse, Jamison Battle's got a statue with the Raptors. Never say 0%. Never say 0%. Abaji for Lowry trade deadline. Abaji is an interesting one that probably should be referenced for a video. I like Abaji a lot. I really like his profile, like as a player. The Raptors just can't afford him. Definitely got to look out for a trade for him this season, because the Raptors can't really afford to sign him at the end of the year when his contract's up. I would suspect he'll have a bit of interest. It's a shame. I like Abaji. I just don't think there's room for him, unfortunately. Nikola Jokic has informed the Nuggets he won't sign a contract extension this offseason. I don't think Jokic is going anywhere. I think last time Jokic's contract was up, he said, like, basically, if they give me a contract, I'll sign it. You give Jokic the max of what you're allowed to give him, and then Jokic signs it. Seems like that's the relationship that they have. I was one of the first to be on Lowry Street. That's cool. I gotta. I don't think I've been there yet. I gotta go get a photo with the signage. That's quite something. Isn't that fucking crazy though? That like the only statue outside of the Blue Jays ballpark, the Rogers Center, is fucking Ted Rogers. not one single player. Like we had a back-to-back World Series champion, right? Like we got a Blue Jay. We technically have two, but like we really have one. We'll claim we got a Blue Jay in the Hall of Fame. Feel like I don't know. Feel like we could do with one. Like a Joe Carter statue. That could probably happen. We got the level of excellence and all, but I mean, like a Roy Halladay statue, a Joe Carter, George Bell even. Like we could probably do with that. And it really sucks that the only statue is a fucking Ted Rogers. I just cannot get over how gross and corporate that is. But you know what? Like, what might even be better is just getting rid of the Ted Rogers statue. I don't know. Maybe we need our own Hall of Fame. Like the Yankee Stadium has the plaques for their all-timers. I think maybe that would be cool. I think even like the Pirates have like that outside their stadium in some capacity as well. Oh no, they have a Hall of Fame. The Pirates opened their. I was at the opening of their Hall of Fame coincidentally because the Jays were in town. I think something like that would be even good. But man, a Ted fucking Rogers statue. Are you kidding me? Would love a co-statue with DeMar, but unlikely. I don't think so. Unfortunately, I don't think DeMar should or will get a statue. Still think we should have drafted Common Malawach. I was at the draft. Everyone around the head take. I would have gone with Malawach, but like I said, if they like Colin Murray-Boyles enough to pass on Malawach, they must really like him. So I'm going to give him an opportunity to prove the front office right. If Kyle Lowry is Hall of Fame, NBA Hall of Fame is the worst in pro sports, but objective. I mean, not that this is like the be-all, end-all, the probability index, but like, there are players with not as impressive resumes as Kyle Lowry in the Hall of Fame. One-time All-NBA, 6-time All-Star, one-time NBA champ. That on top of, the impact he had on an entire basketball nation. Because it's a basketball Hall of Fame, not just NBA Hall of Fame. There are players who have done less who have gotten in. There are players who have been less deserving who have gotten in. So say what you want about the Hall of Fame and the criteria, but players have done less than him. Jokic and Darko, best friends. Is that a hint towards something? No. Is that gonna be the new like Masai's relationship with Giannis and like how Giannis would join the Raptors? Well, not anymore. Masai's in with the Raptors. Lowry isn't guaranteed, but I think he will get in. Goran Dragic statue. That would be funny. One with a quote, "I have higher ambitions." That would be good. Very, very good. You know what? We should, I've been meaning to do this for a while. Maybe next stream. I want to go back to the original post when Goran Dragic was traded to the Raptors. It's like, and Raptors fans were like, all like, hey, if he shows up with a professional attitude and plays the game, he could be an important player for us. Which obviously made sense to think at the time, but it turned out to be an absolute nightmare. Lowry should get a stat. Lowry's getting one. I mean, I would have said if Masai was here, he was getting one for sure. Now we have Rogers. I don't know. I mean, the Leafs have a bunch of statues. Kyle Lowry should get a statue. He should. They better. LeBron said, yeah. Never heard of Ted Rogers. The cable company or whatever, Rogers. Well, that's Ted. A Thaddeus Young statue. We should get a fucking Sasha Vezenkov statue for that trade we were able to pull off because of him. The Jalen McDaniels trade. Oh, Sasha Vezenkov should get a statue. That is the most deserving player. Absolutely. Toronto athlete, Mount Rushmore. Ooh. All right. So I'm going to go like recent-ish history because I'm sure I could go for like a Toronto Maple Leafs player who won a bunch of Stanley Cups, before the fucking like Second World War and stuff. But I'd rather not do that. Toronto athlete, Mount Rushmore. Let's go. Let's try to be diverse for sports. I think the easiest, obvious, even though it's like you're going to be like, oh, fuck you, Jacob. Like, truthfully, Sebastian Giovinco for Toronto FC, MLS Cup champion, MLS MVP, helped at the time. The team set the record for points. I think you kind of have to put Sebastian Giovinco in there. As for like the Raptors, it's obviously Kyle Lowry. Obviously, Kyle Lowry's on the Mount Rushmore. For the Blue Jays, now listen. If we are going to go strictly by their on-field production, there is no debate. It would be Roberto Alomar, not accounting for anything about him as an individual, as a person. If I was making a Mount Rushmore, I would not put him on it. It's just if we're going strictly off of the on-field product, it would be him. But because he's a piece of shit, we're not going to put him on. Instead, well, even though he went change, we probably have to go with Roy Halladay. He is in the Hall of Fame. You could go for George Bell as well, but he also didn't win a championship. As much as, Joe Carter is amazing and was back to a World Series champion, he wasn't as good as some of these players. So for the Jays, it could be Bautista as well. I think I'll go with Roy Halladay because he's in the Hall of Fame. And he was with us for so long, despite the fact that it was a dog shit team. Let's go with Roy. I mean, you could also go for Dave Steep. You could easily go for Dave Steep. He won't be in the Hall of Fame. Tragically, he should be. But let's go for Roy Halladay. For the Maple Leafs, kind of has to be Austin Matthews. Hart Trophy winner. Arguably the most talented player the Leafs have had. You could argue his production in big games in the playoffs, but it's probably Sebastian Giovinco, Kyle Lowry, Roy Halladay, Austin Matthews. 2 champs, 2 non-champs. Not Roy Halladay's fault. He wasn't a champ, but I think that's got to be mine. I saw JV trying to pull a Sasha Vezenkov. I mean, I would think, it could be Matt Sundin. But Matt Sundin as much as I love Matt Sundin, he wasn't as good as what Austin Matthews is, to be fair. But that's a good shout as well. That'd be a childhood nostalgic pick, but I think it's got to be Austin Matthews. MVP and all, right? All right. Well, that'll just about do it for me. Doug Gilmour. Hey, you could go Doug Gilmour, like Wendell Clark. Yeah, I mean, the Leafs have so many players it could be. The Raptors have one player. It could be I guess Toronto FC, you could argue it's Michael Bradley, but the peak of Giovinco, MVP, I think it's got to be him. Well, you could argue for the Jays as well. For the Raptors, I don't think it's arguable. It should be resounding, unanimous. Kyle Lowry is that guy. All right, buddy. I've got to head out. I've got some plans I need to get to. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I really appreciate you tuning in to another off-season stream. Please smash that like button on your way out. It does go a long way to supporting the channel. Please check out the merch that we have with the link in the description, the link that is pinned in chat. I'll do my best. I'm busy, but I'll do my best to have a video out tomorrow for you guys. I do want to do a full video on Jacoby Walter, actually. And then I'll have a video coming out Saturday. I'll be live on Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday for Summer League. So much great content, and I hope to see you there. Thank you, everybody. Thank you again, everybody.